This update on ChatGPT is pretty scary. And to be honest, let's talk about why it is really so good, but also so bad at the same time. And let me kind of be clear here. I've always been a proponent of advancements in technology and benefiting essentially the community at large. But when things drastically get this better this quick, it's not good for the good of the people. I'm just going to keep it real. Let me explain. There's an update that has been recently pushed out for a little while now, not too long. It's only been around for a little while, where essentially there has been a major update to the DALL-E system, the image creation side of things, as the language models have been really just improving. So have the image generation models behind the scenes. Pushing out the recent updates, you can see that there are clear advancements in image generation from a DALL-E perspective, from ChatGPT. ChatGPT, as you guys know, has been constantly pushing out these updates. Now, I haven't spoken too much of them on this channel, but they exist. And here is just a quick sample, quick little imagery, you can say, of these different, I guess you can call them t-shirt designs, let's just say for print on demand, of these designs being created. Not only that, but they are transparent designs at that. So having a transparent design being created, number one, is an advancement, but number two, to put it all together, the understanding of topography, the creation of imagery, also the understanding of contextualization. You map that all together, you essentially have a print-on-demand designer built for you in ChatGPT. Now, this doesn't seem too much like a problem for most people, but let's really think about this. I asked ChatGPT to create a t-shirt design, okay? Make it transparent, something that would surprise me, and it did a really good job, okay? Now, there is no contextualization here. I might have to refresh my page just to get a little bit, to be able to click on stuff and let them preview. But for this design, there wasn't necessarily context, which is fine. When I then asked it to provide me a pun-based design, it did exactly that. It shows a picture of a piece of bread, and it says, "I'm on a roll." Now, that's a pun-based t-shirt design. But think about just a year ago or 2 years ago. Could ChatGPT create something like this? Not even remotely. Text wasn't really visible. The images itself, if you remember DALL-E 2 was terrible. Okay? And in a matter of time, DALL-E 3 was released where it could create imagery, but not really well on text. And the imagery wasn't always following the exact guidelines of the prompt. But here we are with exact specifications created at a phenomenally high level. On top of that, the ability to remove backgrounds in real time that are already done for you without even requesting, essentially. Here I asked it to make a Halloween design in the same way with the pun, trick, or tequila. Now, when I said in the same way, notice how it understood and it already created something that was transparent, a Halloween-based pun, instead of trick or treat, trick or tequila. Now, this is about 90% good. There's only a few little issues here. Aside from maybe the drawing of the tequila, which can be easily improved by another core update, maybe in a couple months, it's the transparent, you could see the lining here. This is super advanced. Now, this seems all good, right? Where does the negative come in? Well, it comes in, and I'll explain in just a minute. But let's take a look at this design. I asked it if it can create a ramen noodles design and a kitten eating the ramen noodles, but a pun of that. And so here it said Meowdy Noodles. Now, I searched what Meowdy is because you have the word meow, which is related to a cat, and then you have howdy. Now, when I searched Meowdy, there were pictures of cats online that were cowboys, and it said Meowdy. Now, this is oddly interesting because, remember, this data is not stored somewhere. This is live on the internet. Interesting. Then I asked it to create a Christmas pun design here. And this is a gingerbread man playing a guitar, and it says, have yourself a Merry Christmas. Now, it's not necessarily a pun, but it's still a Christmas design. The design is sleek, it's professional. The transparent background doesn't exist. And to be clear, these designs are better quality than more than 30 to 50% of the content posted on Redbubble. These designs beat other Redbubble designers in real time. Think about how crazy that is. Now, it gets worse. I asked it to do a Harry Potter pun. Now, I give it some context here, and I put the word Harry, as in Harry, in quotation marks. Design which would obviously relate to Harry Potter, the character, but a play on words. It understood what I was saying. It created a picture of a dog with the same scar that Harry Potter has. That's extremely intelligent, but also the dog is furry. It's hairy. And then it says here, Harry Potter, just like Harry Potter. Now that's a perfect pun with some basic context. The background is transparent. What's missing from this design? Really nothing. Absolutely nothing. This design could be downloaded, maybe upscaled just because of the small size, and uploaded into something like a Redbubble or a TeePublic. Now that sounds all great. Everybody would say, wow, this is amazing. I have a tool that could do work for me. But at this level of the game, you realize that print on demand, as we currently know it today, could come to an end in a very short period of time. In less than 2 years, it can come to an end. In less than a year and a half, it can come to an end. It depends how fast these companies adapt. Imagine a company like Redbubble serving hundreds of thousands of designers, creating an economy for these designers, says, wait a minute, we have these designers that are spamming our systems, costing us money. Let's get rid of 90% of the designers who aren't profitable or profitable to the degree that we want. Let's get rid of them. Let's erase them overnight. And they delete every single account that they don't want. And then what they do is they implement a system just like this, with a little bit of code, with some upscaling, with some creativity. And by the way, by then, the DALL-E system, the image generation system, will be even better. And I'm not even sure this is DALL-E, but the image generation system would be better to create designs from scratch and post them on Redbubble as if it's their brand. What would happen then? Hundreds of thousands of designers would lose the ability to post on that platform, would lose the ability to make money. It's quite scary if you really think about it. And let's go ahead and extrapolate even further. If a company could do that, most likely people on smaller scales will do that way before the company does. But they won't just do it on Redbubble, even though they will on Redbubble and TeePublic and Merch by Amazon. All these places will be inundated with these kind of designs that are actually pretty good. The first thing that's immediately going to happen for every normal designer who generates an income, because that's who's really going to be affected. It's the people who truly generate incomes on these platforms who are truly going to be affected. It's not the people who don't make money. The people who don't make money, well, they didn't make money anyway, to be honest. And I hate to say that, but that's completely the truth. They didn't make money anyway, so they're not going to be affected, right? It's not going to make a difference to them. But the people who do make money, well, month after month after month, they're going to watch their income dwindle away to almost nothing. Then what's going to happen is you're going to have people who are automators will create these systems, and they'll create thousands of imagery and designs overnight connected to a platform that can manufacture these products and build their own websites. With some ingenuity, some creativity, they can connect it to an ad system like, for example, Google AdWords or Facebook, and they know how to manage these kind of things, and they'll generate tens of thousands of dollars on a daily basis. It will get to the point where there will be really no real middle class to this kind of thing anymore. And that's in the near future, not in the long term. In the long term, pretty much everybody's going to be wiped out. There'll be no reason for a regular person to own a business like this because it will make it almost impossible for them to succeed. See, when you democratize technology like this and you give it to everyone, then you've wiped away the concept of scale. Somebody can create 2 or 5 designs, but some other person can create 30 designs from a quantity perspective. But from a quality perspective, you really can't get 100 times better design than something like this. You really can't. Now, you can improve on a design like this. Don't get me wrong, you can. But not to the degree of 100x or 50x. You know, when we used to talk about Redbubble and we used to talk about, this design is much better than that design, or that design is about as good as this design? Well, you're not going to be able to create a design that's 100 times more effective or better or gets more attention. You're just not going to be able to. You're going to make a design that may be 10 or 20% better. But to be honest, your work is going to be wasted anyway, because the competition, which is the machinery, the AI, whoever's using it or controlling it, could be large companies, is going to produce millions of these kind of products. You're just going to get washed out. The amateurs of the technology space, the people who don't make money, those are the people who are excited about these kind of things. For a year and a half, they're going to be creating these designs, posting them on Redbubble, TeePublic, Merch by Amazon, and they're excited. They're happy. They're probably going to keep making little to no money, if that. And I'm not trying to be insulting here, guys, but please pay attention with me here, because this is very serious, and I'll have a solution towards the end. But they're going to keep trying to post, and then a year and a half is going to go by, and something dramatic is going to happen. They're either going to quit completely because they've realized they've done nothing with themselves. There's no money to show for it, and it's not really their fault. But the technology is going to get better than what it is now. So essentially all the work that they've done in the past is worthless. And over time, they're going to realize that there's no need for the designer anymore. Think about why Redbubble, TeePublic, Merch by Amazon is successful. The success rests on two things. Or actually, technically 3 things. The first thing is logistics. How can you map it all together? The designers, to the customers, to the manufacturing. Logistics, that's 33%. The other 33% is getting the designers to do quality work. That's 33%. And then finally, the last 33% is the consumer desire. The consumers look at the product and they say, we like this, and they buy. But you're wiping away the need for a designer. You're eliminating them. Do you know how much havoc this is going to wreak on the print-on-demand industry? I'm telling you guys, print-on-demand is coming to an end. This is the beginning of the end. Truthfully, it was the beginning of the end months ago, years ago, if that. When this whole AI thing came about, everybody was for it. I was for it. Everybody's for it. But you can't foresee the amount of damage this is going to create in the future. Don't get me wrong. I'm a proponent of technology. I understand that I know how to use technology to be able to make money off of it. And I'm certainly more advanced than a lot of people who are just beginners. But let's face it, these beginners are good people. They want to make money, but they're not going to be able to. For me, this kind of print on demand, all this kind of stuff now, it's a side hustle. It's a hobby. It's a fun time. It's not a requirement. It's been nothing that's a requirement for me, but there are people day to day depending on this income. There's no petition that you're going to be able to sign. There's no solution that you can beg for. The only thing you could do right now is pivot. And I'm telling you, the clock is ticking. You do not have much time. You're going to have to pivot into something that you can trust that will last for a few years. There's a few things out there. I'm not going to talk about what they are today. But there is a ticking time bomb on most sources of income today in the world. I'm just going to keep it real. And the end is sooner rather than later. It really is. And it's going to be devastating. I'm telling you, it's going to be devastating. Before the government steps in and starts to provide people with income and universal basic income, which that's what it's going to be, basic. It's not going to be a plethora of income, just the basics. Until that happens, there's going to be a lot of damage in between. For a software to get this good, I don't know if people understand how bad this is. This technology is so good that it effectively, right now, at the current state, wipes out over 50 to 80% of designers right now. Watch them do a little bit more training, improve the font, right? Improve the fonts, improve the graphic design, just a little bit. We're talking about 10, 20, 40%, 30%, which is not hard to do in under a year and a half. They already mastered the transparent designs. They just have to master, the outlining. Maybe have a built-in upscaler, something that allows you to download it in high quality. Forget about it. If you rely on print on demand, you should be worried right now. I'm telling you, you should be worried. You need to go focus on other sources of income. Print on demand is great. It's amazing. Have it as a source of income. Have multiple diversified sources of income. It's great. But I'm telling you, you need to pivot to something. I'm being for real. This is not a joke. This is very scary. The fact that it's this good, you have to understand that the only purpose for you in print on demand in large marketplaces is the fact that you can contribute to these platforms. When the platforms don't need you to contribute anymore, you're effectively worthless to them. Society6, Redbubble, TeePublic, Merch by Amazon, all these companies, you're worthless to them over time. Even when you create your own store now, everybody has the same ability as you. You're not going to be able to compete off of the quality of your design. There are a lot of people today who make money through Google ads, through Facebook ads, because they compete off of what? The quality of their design. And they win off that. In a year and a half, 2 years at most, they're not going to be able to. That source of income for them is going to be gone. They're not going to be able to make the same money they make anymore. I'm just keeping it real. And this is going to get dangerously bad. I'm telling you, it is. There, people who right now may be making $5-10 grand a month are going to be making nothing soon. Whenever there's a change in technology, there's a rise to new forms of income. But there's the death of a lot in the past. I'm like, this is so serious. Think about it. When ChatGPT came out, look at how many new fields came out. How many new topics came out of conversation, from automation to servicing agencies to auto blogging, all these kind of things. But look at how many other careers died. You don't need to hire a writer anymore. You go to ChatGPT. You don't need to hire a developer anymore. You go to ChatGPT. Hell, you don't even need to hire an artist anymore. You go to ChatGPT. There are so many things that have been killed because of AI. The only problem is, as new careers emerge, as new sources of income emerge, as new hustles emerge, the road becomes more and more narrow with time. Think about that. Just the other day, I don't know if it was Bill Gates or somebody in the technology world said, within 5 to 10 years, all teachers and all doctors will be replaced by AI. Now, if that estimation is true, within 10 years, that all doctors will not have a job anymore? Did I say die? I don't know. But if in 10 years, all doctors are not going to be needed in the workforce, think about how many people went to college and studied and went to debt to become a doctor, which is an amazing thing, are not going to be able to make money. Guys, this is scary. The only solution I can have is just sit down and think about something that you can do, because everybody's different. Everybody has different talents and everybody has different abilities. So think about something that you can do that could potentially last through this AI revolution. I mean, that's really all I can call it, an AI revolution. Keep investing. Investing is going to be huge. Save your money. Don't overspend. I know that's not the flashy thing to say, especially with the make money online niche here on YouTube, right? We talk about how to make money online. Everybody wants to go out and get the Lambo. Everyone wants to go get the G-Wagon, the mansion, all the expensive things, and put it on credit and get loans and pay for things. But really, If you can save your money, that's probably the best move you can make, honestly. Cut your costs as best as you can and just try to keep it down on the down low right now for like the next 4 or 5 years till we really see what's going to go down. Try to make as much money as possible and try to save as much money as possible. Once again, I know that's not the flashiest thing to say and the coolest thing to say, but right now, guys, it's going to get bad in the future. People are going to be hungry in these streets, and they're going to be willing to do anything to get the money. Think about it. Imagine you're a teacher. Maybe you got some debt, maybe you don't, but you lose your job because an AI replaced you. You have kids that are starving. What are you going to do? What on earth are you going to do? You're not going to be able to just go work in a warehouse and make some money then, because they're not going to need you. They're going to have robots to replace that too. I mean, this is getting scary. For all the people who can work physically with their hands, plumbing jobs, contractors, that's good. Try to gain as many skills as you can. I think it's a scary future, guys, honestly. I think it's a very scary future. And trust me, like I said to you guys, I love technology. I love the advancement in technology. But for the future, for a lot of people, things are going to get hectic. And I understand that when new technology arises, so does new opportunity. I understand. There's a lot of people out there who are killers and they're hungry and they know how to go out there and get it. But there's a lot of great people, salt of the earth type people, that unfortunately don't have that characteristic. And it's not their fault. Not everybody's built to be like that. And they're not going to be able to produce the income that they need to for the future. And it doesn't mean they're a bad person. It doesn't mean that they're not intelligent. But what it means is that there's something that's going to replace them. This AI thing is on the move. I'm going to try my best to contribute to this, guys, and make videos to help you guys produce as much income as possible. But I could see this turning left real quick. I think it's going to start to get real nasty within the next year and a half. I'm just going to keep it real. Man. Honestly, I don't know what to say. I need to hear your guys' thoughts. But this is a scary update. The fact that it improved this fast is beyond me. I'm just at a loss for words. I know it's a great technology. I know people are happy about it. And I know people are going to monetize it in the short term. But in the long term, this is indirectly a very bad thing. Because it's not giving people enough time to be able to adapt and to acclimate. By the time they find a new way to make money with these updates, there are going to be new updates that come out, creating more competition, creating more issues in that realm. This is not looking good, guys. And I'm not trying to fearmonger, and I'm not trying to create issues for you guys. But this is a very real reality that's coming to fruition right now. Think about it. When was the last time you hired a graphic designer? Think about it. When was the last time you hired somebody to write something for you? For me, it's been, dare I say, years? I'm not sure. So, I don't know. This is pretty for real, all right? I'll talk to you guys later. I really hope you guys can give me your inputs. I mean, if you guys have suggestions, let the people know. Let your peers know in the comments. But and let me know if you agree with me on this. Maybe you don't agree. Let me hear your thoughts. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye.